It is 12:59. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. World number one golfer Scottie Scheffler was detained by Louisville Metro Police this morning while trying to drive into the entrance of Valhalla Golf Club, the site of this week's PGA Championship. Scheffler was charged with second-degree assault of a police officer, third-degree criminal mischief, reckless driving, disregarding traffic signals from an officer directing traffic. He has been released on his own recognizance. Vols win last night in college baseball in the beginning of their three-game series against South Carolina. That score was 9-3. Game 2 starts tonight at 5:30, and you can listen to that game right here on The Zone following 3HL. In the NBA, Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves force a Game 7 crushing Denver 115-70. The 45-point loss was the most by a defending champion in NBA playoff history. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Greetings, Nash Vegas. It's he, Blaine Bishop. It's me, Brad Hopkins. We are brought to you by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, and you got us till 3. We've got PGA golf in the news. We've got some Vols baseball to discuss, of course, with the series going on in Knoxville. We've got a Game 7 in the NBA that we will be touching on. Pretty spicy over there. And, of course, we've got your Titans talk. We'll be joined by Mike Wilson to help us break down that discussion there coming from Knoxville. He's with the Knoxville News Sentinel. At 1:45, Blaine and I will be calling our shot. And then guess what? We got a treat for you. In the 2 o'clock hour, our very own Ron the Savage Slay will be swinging by.
Giving us the sleigh ride.
And that's exactly what it is. I understand now what you mean, Blaine, when you say the sleigh ride. That's because you really don't control a sled.
You know.
You're just going downhill fast. And you kind of try to steer it, but the sleigh ride goes where it wants to go.
Yeah, that's right. Sleigh.
Digging it.
Yes.
Anyway, but first, allow me to welcome in my former teammate, my former roommate, my main man, Biggity Blaine Bishop.
What's going on, man? Everybody's getting ready for the weekend. But, man, the big slate, who would have thunk it or thought it? Golf! Holla! Holla at me. No, do not holler at Scheffler, right? I mean, man.
He's gangster now. So because he's got a federal number. Now you're scared of him, huh?
Oh, man, I'm up 6. I'm like, what? Huh? So I really would love to hear what actually happened. I know Jeff Darlington was there, and he was fumbling and stumbling, trying to say it all correctly and not taking a side whether it was, the police or was it Scheffler's fault and everything else. Kind of, Brad, give us your version of what you think and understand what happened.
Well, first off, we have to be serious for one moment. A person did lose their life.
Yeah, well, he was not part of that.
Right.
He
wasn't part of that.
Yeah, Scheffler was not part of that.
That created the traffic situation that culminated in Scottie getting snatched out of his car. Now, this is the thing.
Ooh.
Okay. So there was a breakdown in communication between the official that told him, hey, look, you're going to have to find another way, or whatever it was he was trying to tell Scottie. And Scottie was saying, no, I'm Scottie Scheffler. I just won the Masters. I'm number one in the world. I'm going to the tournament.
Were other people doing the same thing?
That's the thing. Was there someone in front of him to set the example? But the point is, somewhere a man was drugged. That's what it was. The cop was drugged by Scottie's car. Now, I'm hearing in
he was drugged.
Yes, he got dragged. He literally got dragged by this man's car. Yes, that's where the felony comes in. That's why you saw him in the V-neck orange jumpsuit. They stripped that man and deloused him.
I know, but what did he actually do?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can't. If a cop tells you not to do something and you go on ahead and do it, and you drag him 10 or well, that's the thing. Some people are saying drug him 2 yards. Some people say they drug him 10 yards. There's a huge difference. 2 yards, it might be, hey, I really didn't know that he was hanging on my mirror. 10 yards, you're probably getting cussed by the guy that you're dragging. You know that you're dragging him for 10 yards. That might be snatched out of your vehicle offensible. You see what I'm saying? But either way, he's got a mugshot, which Barstool is already selling T-shirts of. Oh. And That's the thing. So I was listening to Ramon, Kayla, and Will this morning, and they were talking about how exciting it was talking about golf. Why? Because now there is a level of difficulty added to Scotty Scheffler trying to defend his ranking because he went to jail this morning.
And then he showed up for his time.
And they pushed it back because it gave him kind of a weather delay. But my man stood out there getting it up. Listen, and birdied the first hole.
I saw him miss a putt, and I was like, uh-oh, it's affecting him. So, take us through. Golf is a huge mental game. Definitely, it's tough even for the professionals at times. And now, man, I wonder what going through his mind right now, just emotionally, to get back focused. Just like this. I'm going to just look at it like from an athlete's perspective. Sometimes when you have distraction or something go wrong, you kind of zoom in and focus even closer. I don't know if that's what's going on with him. Haven't been paying attention since that moment, but man, is he still, is he still at minus, right? I saw -5, I think earlier, so I don't know where he's at today. What hole he's on. Do you know, Jackson? What hole Chef is in? Yeah,
not sure.
Not sure, but
Look at the leaderboard.
So, how do you think it's affecting him mentally since it's such a mental sport now?
I have to really look at what happened to him, just him specifically, not the implications or our conversation or anything. Right. In other words, he rolled up. He was thinking he's going to get some shots in. Obviously, it's early in the morning. Right. Obviously, the situation is unfolding.
He had on shorts and stuff.
He's ready to go. And all of a sudden, somebody tells him, hey, you can't go this way. And maybe he didn't hear him. Maybe he keeps going. Maybe the guy slapped his car. Maybe something happened in there where there was a disconnect, right? And minor injuries were sustained by an officer that told Scotty Scheffler not to do whatever he did. Okay, so there you get arrested for that. But I almost think it's almost like when you have an accident that you don't think would total the car, but because of the cost to repair it, you total it out anyway. You see what I'm saying? The car's really not in that bad a shape, but you have to label it a total car because it's so bad. And the reason why I bring that up is because here's Scotty Scheffler getting arrested for dragging a police officer. You know what I mean? Essentially. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. And because of that, you got to go through, because it's an official, that's a federal charge. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, think about that. If he did some minor offense or whatever else and they felt the need to even take him down, would they need him to dress in the county orange? You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't he just be standing there in his golf shirt, whatever the blue shirt is that we saw him getting taken down in? Why would they need to have this man strip and change into the jumpsuit? You see? So,
it was serious.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. The level of severity was just by how they processed him. Now he gets out, I mean, able to get over to Valhalla in time. Am I the only one that thinks Mad Max Valhalla? Remember I keep saying Valhalla, which is where the PGA Championship is being played in Louisville, but it's still Valhalla's golf course. I'm thinking Vikings and stuff. Oh. Anyway. But you see what I'm saying? It's because of the offense and who was actually involved. We now see a different degree of it wasn't, they didn't just write him a ticket. They arrested his butt and took him downtown or wherever they take him. So, and yes, I mean, will it affect his concentration?
Well, he's in fourth place at -8.
Okay, he's in fourth. So I'm saying this. In his mind, he just basically had a miscommunication with the guy. The guy might have, got his shoes scuffed or maybe his arms curled. I don't know what happened to him. But he's not thinking that I coordinatedly knocked off a bank or I've got something, major that I really need to contend with. I had a situation with a guy and it's over. Now I got to get back to focusing on round 2 of the PGA Championship. A lot of people are looking at me. And now this being another thing that I got to think about. I mean, matter of fact, I was watching First Take this morning, Stephen A. They actually cut away from their programming to watch Scotty Scheffler tee off.
That's breaking news. But you still hadn't told me, does it affect his play?
I don't think so, because he's super focused.
Yeah, he got focused. Yeah,
he's super focused.
Like me against the world now.
There's probably a lot of sacrifices that he makes to be able to have that kind of focus that he's used to doing. And this is just one of those. Let me put this in the department that it belongs in, and let me go out and continue to try and show you how great I actually am. There's a reason why I'm number one, because I'm able to put stuff like this
departmentalized.
in the rear view. Now he'll have to deal with it. He'll have to come back to Louisville and go to court. Later on down the stretch, whatever, all this other stuff. But right now, in this moment, the fact that he was able to make bond, get out there, and through the little bit of a delay they did offer him, tee off and start out the tournament nicely.
Man,
so Scheffler is 1 stroke out of first.
How about that? And see, that's another thing. People are like, man, I hope this dude, because he
I want him to win because that's the first question that's going to be asked.
Exactly.
How did it affect you?
But the thing is, I guess it
What
is kind of.
happened?
I guess it is kind of good for golf. I mean, it's because it brings attention to the event that he is at, where this all happened.
Well,
And of course,
golf.
he's a golfer. And so this stuff. Now I know other things. But I know that he had a baby last week or a couple weeks ago. I know that obviously he won the Masters. Then this is old news, but if you weren't really following who Scott, matter of fact, I'm in the barber chair. God, I didn't even know who Scotty Scheffler was when we were talking about it until now.
Well, he also may take his level of celebrity to another level because of this attention, unfortunately. Yeah, they may make T-shirts of this. Oh, yeah.
Oh, they did make T-shirts.
See,
They
that's
got
what I'm
T-shirts of
saying.
his mugshot already on them. They're
Yeah,
already
see,
people walking around with
So,
them.
in theory, as crazy as this sounds, unfortunately, someone was injured, and that's why
Injured? They were killed.
I mean, yes. I'm sorry, someone's life was taken, but him doing what he was doing was really because that's where the log jam and the traffic and everything else. And then all of a sudden, now he's gonna probably make even more money as well as.
What you mean? They
celebrities.
gonna sue him?
Well, more money. Like he'll start printing T-shirts, other branding. This is all good. Good
is
news,
not-
bad news.
He is
it's
not
still
going to just
great
cut himself
news.
in.
Oh,
He is not going to call Barstool and say, "Hey, look, you better cut me in on this."
Oh
deal.
man, well he can do it himself. What are you talking about? He
How
don't
many
need
still
them.
T-shirts of himself in a mugshot?
Please,
Would make a
you
great
got to
coffee
be able to
mug.
make fun of you. Got to make fun of yourself.
Oh, my God.
He did a boo boo, and it ain't gonna cost him. He may have to do some charity work for the police officers there in Louisville and pay a big fine.
Hey, they say the Louisville mayor is involved.
Oh well,
So you got city officials involved now.
Oh,
Yeah. So what are they? Or I mean, I wonder what side the mayor's on. Is he defending his police officers, or is he saying, "Hey, leave Scotty alone. He's here on a special event, special assignment, bringing money to our city, and we need his participation. So hands off."
What would you do if you were the mayor?
If I was, well, I would first off try and get down to the bottom of it. I'd say, "Hey, listen, John Q. Law, what happened? Did you say, hey, Mr. Scheffler, if you wouldn't mind hanging a right over here to go around this accident?" "No, screw you, cop. I'm going through." And that was the case. Or or John Q walked up there, bam, slapped the hood of the car. "Hey, man,
I said stop.
what's going on with you?" And Scotty's sitting in the car like, "Hey, what's going on? I don't understand what you're talking about. I'm Scotty Scheffler, the best golfer in the planet. I'm just going here to defend my title. I'm here to just hang out. It's cool. It's cool." Was he like that? So I just wonder what was the situation. As the mayor, I'd have to find that out. And like you just said, were there other examples? Were there other cars in front of him that were complying, obviously, because there wasn't anybody else getting snatched up out of their car?
I hope it was.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I heard there had to be emotional because think about it. This guy's obviously upset as Scotty's not complying what he said.
Well,
and by the time they got to stop car,
it is in Louisville.
see, where are you going?
I'm saying.
Yeah. Thank you.
I don't know. People saying it's in Louisville.
Okay. Well,
What do
we
you
gotta
say,
take-
Jackson?
So we got to take a break. Hey, listen, it's time now to shift gears because South
From
Carolina's in
Louisville?
time. Yeah, from Louisville, we got to go to Knoxville. And we're going to
mayor
talk with
said no.
we're going to talk to the Knoxville News Sentinel's very own Mike Wilson. He's going to help us break down Tony V and the boys as they try and position themselves nicely, not only for the SEC, but for the national stage too. That and more. Remember, Ron Slay will be joining us in the second hour right here on 104.5 The Zone. Stick around. Don't go anywhere.
For many of you who have lived here a long time, you already know Eurofix has been in Middle Tennessee area for your European car repair needs now for 24 years. We've all gotten to watch them grow. And I don't know about you, but I love watching a hometown business take off. Well, we are now proud to announce the 5th location in Mount Juliet for Eurofix on Mount Juliet Road, right across the street from Dairy Queen. And Eurofix can serve you in Franklin, Hundred Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now Mount Juliet. Pretty cool getting to watch a small town mechanic starting in the barn in his backyard of a single wide trailer and now grow to 5 locations repairing thousands of cars each month. And at Eurofix, you also get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car with every repair appointment. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can just visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. But don't tell them, Blaine.
And welcome back. He's Blaine Bishop. I'm Brad Hopkins. Baseball America projects Tennessee will be the number 3 national seed and host a Knoxville regional.
Ooh.
That's where we are, bro.
Ooh.
And rather than you and I sit here bantering back and forth about, what the Vols baseball season looks like.
We need somebody who knows what they're talking about.
How about that? So we went down to Knoxville News Sentinel's very own Mike Wilson. We said, hey, Mike, you need to join us on the show. And he obliged us. Mike, welcome in. What's going on?
He said he'll send his puppet.
How could I not oblige? I mean, it's just an easy choice when I get a text like this.
I know, that's right. Anyway, so thanks for joining us. Listen, it does look like Tennessee baseball is headed toward the national seed in the NCAA tournament for the 3rd time in the past 3 seasons, which ain't too shabby. But they got to take care of them Gamecocks first. Christian Moore, tell us a little bit more about this cat here, man. This dude's bat is ridiculous.
Yeah, I looked it up last night, and obviously the bats were a little different. The era was a little different, but Christian Moore has 26 home runs this season. Tennessee hit 33 as a team in the final year before Tony Vitello was hired. So, and that was kind of more the norm for that era to some extent, but still, this kind of shows you how special of a season he's having. And honestly, I kind of put this out last night a little bit. I get that the SEC Player of the Year race is Jack Caglianone and Charlie Condon, and they're having tremendous years, but Christian Moore needs to be in that conversation for the year he's having.
Right. Oh. Exactly. So, obviously it's more than just that. We're talking about the return of AJ, maybe add some depth out of that bullpen. What would you say the strength of this move is? Is it in the box with the batters, or is it really in the defense of it all, the pitching?
Yeah, I think you can kind of go 2 ways with that. The most impressive thing they've got is definitely the top 6 in the lineup. That's where their bread is buttered. That said, I think the most impressive thing this team has done is the way it's pitched. It's not the deepest pitching staff. They lost their Friday night guy early in A.J. Russell. He's only thrown in 4 games. So to me, being among the leaders in the nation in ERA, despite not having your number 1, says so much about the work that Frank Anderson's done. So I think the way I would go with that is the strength of the team is the top 6 in the lineup. The most impressive thing about this team is what the pitching staff has achieved.
I know, that's right. He is Mike Wilson from the Knoxville News Sentinel joining us here on the show.
Well, Mike, I have to go back to Christian Moore. Where does he stack up history-wise? I just thought of this when you said that 26 out of 33, out of the home run. With UT in baseball, where does he stack up as the best home run hitter? Is he in the conversation or no?
Strictly based off stats, he is the most impressive home run hitter. He's got 52 in his career now, which broke the previous record of 40.
Oh.
And Blake Burke also broke that record. He's at 45 right now, I believe. So both those guys are 1 and 2. And now Christian Moore also holds the single season record, which was 24. It's really crazy to watch what he's done. So when you strictly talk about stats, he is the best home run hitter. Is he the best pure home run hitter? I don't know. You could probably make the case the guy that hits behind him, Blake Burke, is more of a pure home run hitter, but Christian Moore's the guy with the records.
Mike, we're on with Mike Wilson, and I am thoroughly disappointed in you. You did not predict that this would happen like you've done on every other sport, but you did not predict that he would be the best hitter in basically UT history.
I did predict that he and Blake Burke would break the career home run record, but that wasn't exactly bold. Like, they came into the year with 30 and 27. I think the headline on that story originally said bold predictions, and we took bold off because it was such an obvious prediction.
Oh, okay. So it was so obvious here. The key, though, is when you have an elite player like that, is always about how much does his play actually elevate the team in their play. Do you see any of that?
You do, and that's largely because Christian Moore's a leadoff hitter. I think yesterday was his 4th leadoff home run this season. So, he goes out there and starts the game strong, and that's having an effect on the whole team and the way that everything goes. That's huge for this team. He is at the top of the order, setting it up for Blake Burke, Billy Amick, Kavaris Tears, or Dylan Dreiling. It really starts the lineup in a really impressive way.
So explain to all us common people how they can end up being in first place. What has to happen?
Yeah, I think this team's probably locked up in terms of a national seed, a top 4 seed. In terms of winning the SEC, as you're asking about, they need to probably sweep South Carolina. They are still a game back of Kentucky. Kentucky beat Vanderbilt last night. Arkansas lost at Texas A&M, so Arkansas is now a game back of Tennessee. So pretty much Tennessee needs to gain a game on Kentucky. So Kentucky needs to lose one, Tennessee needs to win two, is pretty much how it has to shake out the rest of the weekend. Arkansas is no longer such an issue. They were tied with Tennessee until they lost in the 11th last night, 1-0 at Texas A&M.
Well, there you have it. Mike Wilson of the Knoxville News Sentinel.
Hey, Mike, earlier this week, the program took the time, obviously, to honor Xander Sechrist, Chris Stamos, catchers Cal Stark and Charlie Taylor. We know Sechrist, he was a midseason ace for the first, I think, 3 years in the program. Chris Stamos obviously was an addition in the 2024 roster after transferring from Cal. You know, Stark has been that guy, that dude behind the plate there for a number of years, and Taylor does basically whatever you ask him to do. Is this a senior-led team, or was there enough youngsters underneath to be able to pick up the mantle from these guys that have finished up their illustrious career in Tennessee?
I mean, it's not, and that's typical for baseball, right? Like, seniors in college baseball aren't normal. I mean, guys go pro after 3 years typically, so it's not senior-led. It is upperclassmen-led, I think you'd say. I mean, guys like Christian Moore, Blake Burke are very much in that mix, Gavaris Tears. So it's more of a junior-led team, but that's the norm. But I think when you look at Chris Stamos and Xander Sechrist, they've meant a ton to this team as openers. Because, again, this pitching staff isn't the deepest out there. So Tennessee's using openers on 2 of the 3 weekend starts, which isn't common, especially as a recipe for the team that's ranked number 1 in the country. So that's huge. Cal Stark, I think you do have to talk about in terms of his calming presence on this team. A.J. Causey talked about that after pitching at Vanderbilt. Like, that's an important role. He's catching for this team, and he's right in the middle of it all.
The Vols program has reached the NCAA tournament in 5 straight seasons. It's gone to the College World Series in 2 of the past 3 seasons, obviously breaking through in 2021. What does this say about Tony V's era there? Is it, I mean, one of the best, if not greatest, in program history? I mean, where does that rank up nationally, do you think, what he's been able to do in such a short period of time, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it is the best era in Tennessee program history. They haven't gone to Omaha with such frequency. And you talk about the season between those two, it might be the best college baseball team ever. So you're talking about 3 straight years that are crazy. This year on paper looked like it might not have been as good, and yet here they are, number 1 in the country. I mean, the record is not that far off from what it was 2 years ago either when they were 53-9. I believe that was the record going to the NCAA tournament. And they're sitting there right now with 44-10, 43-10. So they're right there at that same place. It is as impressive as a program as there is in the country right now, just based off the sustained success. They're putting out pros at a crazy level. I mean, this draft, I think, is really going to kind of blow some people's minds in terms of they probably have 5 hitters that are going to get taken in the top 100 picks, which is even better than what they had in 2022, I believe. So it's a crazy crop that they're putting out. They've kind of stacked talent on talent, and that's the way you win in SEC baseball and college baseball as a whole is having pro prospects, having guys come to college that could have gone pro out of high school, and Tennessee's had a lot of big leaguers on this campus lately.
Mike, when Blaine and I first moved here to town, Tim Corbin was on the precipice of starting a dynasty with as many times as we've seen him in the postseason and whatnot. So he's a lot for us to compare to. You know what I mean? Kind of a high bar to set. And dare I say that, maybe it's a new dynastic conversation heading up there in Knoxville. Am I ahead of myself or what, Mike?
I mean, the thing you're always going to run into with that conversation right now is winning a natty, given that Tim Corbin has 2.
Makes sense.
And then played for another, obviously, just a couple of years ago. So I mean, that's always going to be a thing. Like, I think to really cement yourselves as that, you do need to win at that level at some point. But, I mean, Tennessee's in the conversation every year. And you know, you talk to like a Rick Barnes in college basketball. It's the same thought. You have to be in the conversation to have that opportunity. And basketball program's done that. Baseball program is doing that now. I think both Tennessee and Vanderbilt are obviously tremendously successful, and maybe what's kind of cool is they both kind of do it in their own ways too.
He's Mike Wilson from the Knoxville News Sentinel.
Well, Mike, I guess. I'm sorry, Mike. Is Tennessee the front runners? You think going into the World Series, and if not, who is the front runner?
I don't know. It's tough. I think A.J. Russell's probably the linchpin to me when it comes to Tennessee. He's really close to getting back. I imagine the Vols hope to throw him in the SEC tournament at some point. If he can come back, that's really important for that pitching staff because you need pitching depth when you talk about getting into the College World Series and getting an opportunity to play deep into it. Like the Vols have the pitching to get through the first 2 weekends. Certainly if you don't lose it all in the regional, you're better equipped for that. A.J. Russell's got to matter in that equation because I think this year's unique. All the top teams are kind of flawed. Arkansas's hitting isn't tremendous. Texas A&M just hasn't been as good of late. Obviously, their pitching was tremendous last night, but hasn't been as good as expected. So those are kind of those 2-3 teams in the country right now. Kentucky's pretty reliable right there in that mix. Wake Forest has the pitching to go get it done. Clemson's been pretty darn good, but they've been kind of up and down of late. So there are some teams out there, but there's not an LSU from last year, or you're going into Omaha saying, man, that team's going to play in the final. And you kind of could say Florida's going to be in that mix last year. Then they got knocked 1 game shy. Wake Forest was that other team. So it's a little more open of a field this year, I think, when you're talking about who could win it all.
It seems like Tennessee over the last 5 years, as you guys have been talking about, had a lot of success, but it seems like they come up short or disappointing. Do you feel like there's some form of a choke element to once they get there that they just don't do enough and feel the pressure?
I don't. 2021, that was probably a bit of a surprise in terms of Tennessee being where it was. Wasn't the deepest pitching staff. Got to Omaha, went 0-2 and were out. You can revisit 2022 all you want. If things go differently, the right pitching change, whatever, against Notre Dame, if Drew Gilbert doesn't get ejected, Frank Anderson doesn't get ejected, like what changes, what ripple effect is there? Because obviously that team did have that depth. And then last year, Tennessee drew the bad card. They had to open against Paul Skeens. Whatever team was getting Paul Skeens was going 0-1 to start the College World Series. So you're getting sent to the loser's bracket immediately, and that's what happened to Tennessee. Now, we talked about this last night a little bit in the press box. Tennessee's College World Series path kind of went as you thought last year. They were going to lose to LSU and Skeens. They did. Beat Stanford. Cool, that happened. Then Tennessee had the pitching edge against LSU in that elimination game, and they lost. They lost when LSU staff was kind of without a starter when Tennessee had Drew Beam. So that to me is the one game that Tennessee's had in Omaha where you say, darn, probably should have had that one. But even then, again, you get sent to the loser's bracket in game one, it's really tough to get back out.
Well, kind of explain to us and the listeners, the difference between, I guess, your projected, 3 seed and how that's better or worse than if you were a 1 or 2 seed, or is no difference?
It just depends on where you're getting paired for the Super, obviously. The 3's paired with the 14, so on and so forth. Basically use the NCAA tournament math to figure out the way the national seeds are paired. But it matters, but it also matters who comes out of the other regional. If you run into a team with a couple of juggernaut starters, that can be problematic in a Super round. So doesn't make a ton of difference up till that point, in my opinion.
How far does Tennessee's baseball team have to make it for it not to be a disappointment?
If you're going in as the number 3 or 4-ish national seed, you've got to get to Omaha to feel good about that. But again, baseball's a funny game, man. I imagine there wasn't a person in the country who predicted Notre Dame coming to Knoxville and beating Tennessee in the Super 2 years ago. Going to that tournament, I'm willing to bet more than half the country who did predictions predicted Tennessee to win the whole thing. So it's a funny game. It's a weird game. That's why teams lose midweek games that are very bizarre sometimes. So it's hard to predict, but at the same time, if you're going in at that seed, you want to get to Omaha. Again, Tennessee needs to have some pitching step up, prove some depth there. I think that'll go a long way. Don't end up on the wrong side of your regional because pitching to get back out is tough. But, yeah, it looks like an Omaha team again on paper.
All right. I love your bold predictions. What is your prediction on what they do in the World Series?
I think they get to Omaha. I like Tennessee's odds there. Again, the super pair matters in terms of who you get in that second weekend. And I think Tennessee's got a shot there just because, again, the field's a little bit more wide open than it was last year where LSU just had so much in terms of the best pitcher, the best hitter in that tournament. So there was just a lot going on there. And this year I do think it's a little bit more open. In Omaha, though, can Tennessee's power play? Because that's a big ballpark. That's been something they've dealt with there in the past. Is the pitching deep enough? because, again, they're relying on openers. So if A.J. Russell can come back, you're going to like Tennessee's chances a lot more to make some noise there.
There you have it, Mike Wilson of the Knoxville News Sentinel.
Mike, I'm going to have you look into your crystal ball, and I'm going to ask you a few things. Do you think that it's likely that we sweep South Carolina? I'm saying we, mean Tennessee. That's the team you cover. I'm going to have to include ourselves in that conversation, at least on that side.
Yeah, get out the way, Mike.
Yeah, right? Tell him get out the way, Mike. Back up. Anyway,
Scheffler.
And Kentucky loses 2 of 3 against Vanderbilt. All right, and Arkansas doesn't get swept by A&M. That will give the Vols the cleared out and out SEC title. How likely do you think in your crystal ball those stars are going to line up?
I mean, I don't have a ton of faith in Vanderbilt right now.
Man, it hurts me when you say that.
I mean, Kentucky's also playing really good baseball and has been throughout the whole season. You want to talk about crystal ball? My preseason pick for Coach of the Year in the SEC was Nick Mingione at Kentucky. I thought that was a team that people are sleeping on, and that he had an opportunity to make a lot of noise with this team. I didn't think they'd make this much noise, but I thought they were going to overachieve over projections, and they've done that and then some. So I like Kentucky more than I like Vanderbilt right now. So I don't know that it's going to shake out that way. I do think Tennessee probably sweeps South Carolina because I don't have any faith in the Gamecocks either. I think that's a flawed team that's underachieved. And, I said to someone the other day, Mark Kingston kind of gives me Kelly Harper vibes, where good coach, wins enough for most places, but isn't getting it done at the level that the program he's in probably requires.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice to have Lindsey Nelson Stadium hosting a regional, of course, with the Vols being the host, the lead dog. Who the heck is Right State or Wrong State? What do you know about this squad?
Come on.
Well, I saw them a couple years ago in Knoxville. Very different team, obviously, because baseball rosters turn over in 3 years, but that team back then played tremendous baseball and was aggressively underseeded as a 4 seed. That was kind of disrespectful by the NCAA that year. They're a team that just plays good baseball, well coached. They had a lot of power guys that year, pro prospects, and that's probably the mold they have again. To be honest, I don't know much about this particular iteration for the Raiders, but I know they've kind of had a good model and good system for a few years now.
Yeah. I know in the very beginning you mentioned Charlie Condon, you mentioned Connor from Mississippi. How do you pronounce that? Hudsack? Either way, pretty good bats. Christian Morris, one of those guys that's among them. Why is there not more conversation about him being SEC Player of the Year, you think?
I think there's some parallels to Zach Edey in basketball, National Player of the Year. Sometimes the narratives on these awards are decided a long time in advance, and I get it. I mean, Charlie Condon and Jack Caglianone are the 2 Golden Spikes favorites, too, as National Player of the Year. Condon has, 34 homers? It's crazy. Jack Caglianone being a two-way guy and pitching a lot better this year than he did last year. So, those are the front runners, and I just think that's why. I think people have known their names for so long, and before the year, those were the 2 names you're talking about. So they haven't done anything to lose an award, basically. But I do think Christian Moore should be having his name as a 3-way race there. Because, again, I don't think many people voted on SEC-only stats, but Christian Moore's at 19 of his 26 homers in SEC play, and 11 of those on the road in SEC play. So he's not just relying on Lindsey Nelson Stadium and midweek games to produce these numbers. He's got the most homers in SEC play, the most RBIs, most hits, highest batting average. He's having a tremendous season in the best conference in the country, so got to be talked about. He's not going to win it just because, again, Charlie Condon, it's his award to lose. But I do think Christian Moore's name should be more highly talked about in that particular race. Another
guy, another Vol that they hope hits a lot of home runs. Nico, hey! What do you think about that? Here's a dude that in the fall, obviously, we're going to be talking a lot about your boots on the ground there in Knoxville. I'm of the opinion that he's going to stick around and finish his collegiate career as a Vol. But then again, with this funky old transfer portal, I don't know, Mike. What do you think? You think he finishes his career as a Vol in college?
I'd assume so. There's nothing kind of out there to indicate anything differently at this point.
No, what I'm saying? Sometimes it just, especially with the NIL discussion going on, and we see, shoot, how many teams was Michael Penix Jr. on before he actually even saw the NFL, So it just kind Kind of curious as to how competitive you think that the Vols would be to keep him in-house, basically, if at all.
Oh, well, there's rumors he's making $8 million. I don't know.
Sweet heavens.
But,
Are you being serious?
Mike Wilson did not say that, but there's other things say that. But, one thing about Nico, though, being this, he's now the starter. Has he, does he feel the pressure of the limelight, let alone being the leader? And then they're also playing under the lights versus North Carolina State, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's his program, and he's been anointed as that as a while, or anointed as the QB guy for a while, and understandably so. When he's as ballyhooed as he is as a recruit, kind of the NIL darling in the infancy days of all that. So, yeah, I mean, Nico showed what he can do against Iowa. I think he's got to show consistency in the passing game. He showed he can run the offense and produce, though, and that's what Tennessee needs.
Oh, but you said the key word, Iowa. Iowa is not in the SEC. And it was a bowl game that was kind of, it's a lot looser than an actual SEC game. What do you think? It's the same?
I agree. I mean, I also think Iowa had a really good defense last year.
They really did. Huh? And high draft picks, too.
They did, but then they didn't. Their starting corner didn't play. There was another guy on the D-line didn't play. Yeah. I mean, so they are good, but we all know what that means in the Big Ten and not in the SEC. So I still want to put quotation marks, and until you do in the SEC and you start taking those hits from those D tackles and D ends in the SEC, it's a total different ball game.
And you're going to see a lot of the success for that team dictated by the offensive line.
Yes.
Because last year, the offensive line was not great in pass pro. I mean, as much as people want to talk about Joe Milton did this, didn't do this, the offense was flawed around him. I thought the wide receivers weren't consistent enough. The tackles weren't great enough. It was a very good run-blocking offensive line, but wasn't a great pass-blocking offensive line, and that's why they went out and got Lance Hurd as a tackle out of the portal. You're trying to upgrade those positions to a place where you built an offense around your quarterback that can do better than it did last year.
Seems like easy conversations nowadays with you, Mike Wilson, with Rick Barnes, with Tony V doing things, and, of course, Josh Heupel. Things are good on all Rocky Top, and we appreciate you being able to wax poetically about the things going on in your neck of the woods. We'll catch up to you soon.
For sure. Thanks, guys.
All right. Mike Wilson for the Knoxville News Sentinel. Hey, when we come back on the other side, well, not on this immediate other side, Ron Slay will be joining us in hour number 2. We'll obviously be taking your phone calls to tap into anything that Blaine Bishop or myself, Brad Hopkins, have discussed today. We're right here on 104.5 The Zone, but we are brought to you by All Four Seasons Garage Doors.
Tennessee, are you ready to embrace spring with confidence? So check out Cool Ray today and let's make this season a breeze. Get $1,500 off select whole home generators and ensure your family's comfort and safety. We'll also pay you to upgrade. That means get $1,000 when you upgrade your HVAC system with Cool Ray. Or you could try the $49 tune-up plus refresh for your system and beat allergy season with 10% off indoor air quality products. So let the experts at Cool Ray clear your drain for $93 or you won't be charged. And in honor of the National Military Appreciation Month, Cool Ray will be offering an additional 5% discount for all active military members and veterans, making it a total of 10% off during the entire month of May. So we're your partner in comfort no matter the season. So here's to spring filled with sunshine, smiles, and stress-free living. Cool Ray, keeping Tennessee cool, plumbing right, and lights bright.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
He's Blaine Bishop. I'm Brad Hopkins. Riveting conversation with Mike Wilson, as always, from the Knoxville News Sentinel. We did tease the fact that we're going to catch up with Ron Slay, and that, my friends, is why we're going to hold off on calling our shot, which we normally would do at this time, because we figured it'd be way much more fun to do with Ron Slay. He brings the funk. He brings the energy. Hey, via Jim Wyatt doing this little piece on Will Levis, my man says that he's excited about what he's seen in the offseason and what is next. Feels great, all those things. And that he, over the last 5 to 6 weeks, has been with the guys learning the offense, learning the system, and that's been a huge jump start for him. I tend to agree. From what we've seen, not only from those players, the rookies that showed up and even took the podium earlier this week, talking about the transition, all the way even to Will Levis himself, when the veterans start to, fold their way back into the mix. I think that it's an exciting time to see some of the changes that have taken place. And I don't know, Blaine, maybe there's something to that. The fact that change seems to always bring around hope, the hope that this team can compete with the rest of the teams in the division that seemingly are getting better. But it does seem like early on this team's taking all the right steps.
Yeah, well, I would say, every time you have a coaching change, especially on both sides of the ball, head coach and everything, brings a refresh attitude in that now as a veteran player, you have to prove yourself. You have to prove yourself as a rookie. So now kind of everybody's on the same plane in learning systems, offense and defensive systems. So no one's ahead of someone else when you come into play. So you're all kind of on the same trajectory. Maybe, veterans are a little ahead just because you're having camps before the rookies or younger players. But so I really like that. And then you, as a veteran perspective, you come in excited about and proving that you belong and that you are still what you thought you were, what you did the previous year. And then the young guys coming in with that young vigor of wanting to prove themselves that they are NFL players now. I'm going to show that I am ready to take that mantle and be the starter and play more and show that I belong. So there's a lot of things working together in hand there, and let everybody come together as one and develop chemistry with one another out there with the first, second teams anyway, and some on the third team, which was where I was at in my rookie season. So it's just a lot of positive things, and you feel like offensive coaching staff, offensive head coach, we about to sling it all over. If worse comes to worse, guess what? We're going to see some exciting scoring, hopefully, and you may come away with like, you know what? We're going to be pretty good here. If it's not this year, it's going to be the next year. Because some pieces, may not fall into place like you want them to. But I think we're going to see some exciting football.
Yeah, you know what? I just don't want there to be any fence straddling. And what I mean by that is Will Levis was taken with the first pick in the second round, which makes him legitimately a second rounder. But he was there night one because most people had a first round grade on him. So are we treating him as a first-rounder, a guy that's supposed to at some point in level develop into a franchise quarterback? Or are we looking at him as a later-round pick, later meaning second day? Now, I understand what a second-round pick actually is and the implications, but it seems like we may be giving this guy more pressure than what his draft situation would show. He was a day two guy, no fifth-round option kind of guy. That's just what happened. Even though most people thought he was going in the first round, he didn't. But we sure are having that first-round grade expectation on this guy. So which is it? Is he a second-day guy or is he a day one guy?
Well, I don't look at it as any day down. Now he's been in the league, in the National Football League for one season. Now you are an NFL player. Now it's up to you to do your best and, play your best and up to your ability. And if you feel the pressure, that's on you. All you can do is control you. And that's it. Now they put some weapons around them. Maybe you said you're talking about the media from the outside. But to me, as a player, especially a high-profile player, whether you were first round or second round, when you're a quarterback, the pressure is always going to be there. So if you haven't been able to deal with that in the SEC, getting disappointed there and not going in the first round, then your second-round pick, you played 6 games, you show glimpses of greatness, and then you got injured. It also be all you want to do is say, I got some pieces now here, learn the offense and let my talent take care of itself and then just play ball. That you don't think about the pressure. If you start thinking about the pressure, then that's a distraction. Then you will fall to the pressure. So that's kind of the mindset I would want of my quarterback. There is no pressure. I don't think I ever felt pressure as a player once I was in the league and I had proven that I belong. The pressure is over. Now it's just a matter of how well will I play. And you don't think about how well you play. If you prepare, your preparation will tell you how well you will play. You may have some ups and downs, but
it means the front office isn't afraid to make those investments, and they want to go win, which is awesome to see. One Mr. Will Levis. That's Blaine Bishop. I'm Brad Hopkins. We got to step away. More Titans talk when we come back right here on 104.5 The Zone. If you want to join us, jump on the phone to 737-1045. We'll be right back.
It is 2 o'clock on the dot. How about that? From the 104.5 The Zone Studios, I'm Jackson Williams. World number one golfer Scotty Scheffler was detained by Louisville Metro Police this morning while trying to drive into the entrance of Valhalla Golf Club, the site of this week's PGA Championship. Scheffler was charged with second-degree assault of a police officer, third-degree criminal mischief, reckless driving, disregarding traffic signals from an officer. He has been released on his own reconnaissance. Vols win the first game of their three-game series against South Carolina 9-3 last night. Game 2 starts tonight at 5:30. You can listen right here on The Zone following 3HL. And in the NBA, Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves force a Game 7, crushing the Denver Nuggets 115-70. The 45-point loss was the most by a defending champion in NBA playoff history. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome back. It's hour number 2. I'm B-Hop, he's Blaine.
Be bizzle for shizzle.
Coming up in about 20 minutes, we'll be catching up with Ron Slay. That's always going to be fun and entertaining. As a matter of fact, we've saved Call Your Shot for when he joins us on the show.
See, I think you just did what everybody's doing with Levis.
What?
You put all the pressure on Ron Slade to come over here and just entertain everybody.
Well, because that's who, I mean, put it this way, Ron feels no pressure, first off. He feels no pressure. That dude, he's cool at any moment.
You feel no pressure.
He feels none. We'll ask him that, too. You ever feel pressure? Hey, man, anything ever make you sweat?
Oh,
that might be something to get into him with. But you know what, though? I'm going to tell you what, though. You actually hit me on something during our show prep.
What's that?
I didn't realize that the key to a long career playing professional sports was
You play professional sport? What are you talking about? You played a long time.
the pedicure.
Oh, yeah.
The key is the pedicure, taking care of the feet.
The petty and the petty.
You know, you said that, well, first off, you'll explain that a little bit more. But Al Smith, our beloved, at the time,
When we
player
was
personnel
rookies.
director, he was actually, when we were rookies, he was the man.
Yeah, he was
in
the guy.
anchoring our defense, anchoring Buddy Ryan's defense.
Yeah.
And he's now the NFL Alumni Association Tennessee chapter president.
Yeah.
And he told you about taking care of your hands and feet.
Yeah. I was like, hey, man, you got clear nail polish on you. He said, you must know. You must take care of your feet and your hands because they're the ones taking care of you. And I said, oh. So then I immediately said, I need to figure out what this is all about. So I went and started getting my feet and hands done.
Yeah.
And then I've been going ever since.
Yeah. See,
And that's how I keep them baby booty feet.
What do you mean baby booty feet?
Oh,
What
they
are you
just
talking
soft.
about?
They just soft as butter.
Who would know that?
Well, I put my feet on air. I did.
Stop.
So everybody saw them.
I want to see your baby booty feet.
Well, it was
Anyway,
because it was
listen.
LeBron James showed his corns and all that, and I was like, oh my!
But that happens when you wear cleats all the time and people are stepping
But if
on
you
your
got
feet.
petties, you wouldn't.
Okay, so listen, I got a pedicure. My wife and I went and got pedicures about a week ago, and it was my first pedicure. I didn't realize how much the massaging of the calves. Are you for real right now?
The Achilles?
Getting the knuckles in the bottom of the feet there,
Ooh, it's
along with the you don't go in there with your feet stank. You go, take a shower before you
of
go.
course.
Right?
You don't go after you get through working out.
But then you get it doubled down in the chair, man. It's awesome.
You know what we should do? Men, call in and women tell us when you've taken your man. And tell us, if anybody got any stories about when they first got they
Hey, man, this is a family show, bro.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, they could do that. Tell us what it was like your first time you go round.
737. Well, is it for the men? Is it for the women?
Both, because we got a lot of women
That's
listeners,
true.
man.
That's
Especially
true.
since you've
We
been on the
do,
show.
but
All the women want to listen to you, man.
Oh, 737-1045. Your petty experiences.
Yeah.
Because I will tell you what, I was actually shocked. I didn't realize that to that degree that they took care of it. So if you translate that back to what we were talking about, you taking care of your feet via massage, just really making sure that they're flexible, loose, everything else, not from the aesthetics point, but just even from the ability to get your calves massaged. Well, first off, being an athlete, you do need to get regular massage. It's part of your routine. To keep your muscles as relaxed and refreshed as they possibly can be. Recovery is a huge part of that too. But then to find out that you can get a miniaturized version of, that process by going and getting a pedicure. Are you kidding? Y'all were just sleeping on it. Why didn't you tell anybody that?
Oh, no. You
certainly weren't walking by. I was like, dang, man, Blaine's toes look awful cool today.
Oh, no.
I didn't say that. But see, so how would I know otherwise?
I don't know. But, what was that?
Yeah, what was that?
What was that, Jackson?
Y'all have never heard that?
Whose drop is that?
What was that?
That's it's a ref during a Titans game. He turned his mic on to call a flag and yelled, hey.
Hit it again?
You know what that was? That's breaking up a fight.
Oh, was it?
That's exactly what that tone is.
Oh, see, only people who get in fights would know that.
I know, sir, that you are not talking.
I hardly ever
Mr. Scrappy. Oh, my goodness, Blaine Bishop. We sat here and watched you playing the Ravens yesterday. Yesterday, NFL Channel ironically had our game on against the Ravens, and they watched you flying around.
That's
like a maniac.
doing my job. That's not getting no fights. That's being me.
I don't know how you think that you can come across with this nice guy persona when everybody knows how you play, Blaine.
I never got a 15-yard penalty ever for fighting.
Let me ask you this. You didn't get one, but should you have gotten one?
No. I might have should have got one on Hines Ward. I tried to spear him in his ribs because he hit me on my knee and blindsided me on the other side of the field like plays before that, and he was laughing. And I was like, oh, dude, that ain't flying. And so I was trying to get him without getting thrown. I speared him. Boom! He was already down. He went down because he knew I was going to get him. I just knew they were going to call a penalty. I jumped up and acted like I looked around like, oh, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Brad, did you?
Yeah, he did.
I've actually been tossed from a game.
I've never been tossed.
We were playing the Lions in the Silverdome. This was in, I'm going to say 98 maybe.
Oh.
Tracy Scroggins. You remember Tracy Scroggins?
Linebacker?
Defensive end.
Defensive end.
Yeah.
Okay.
He hit
97?
me. He punched me right in the face.
Ooh, that's disrespect.
Second play. Exactly. So what am I going to do? Am I going to stand there and let you take you sock him in the face?
You one for the team.
Yeah, I took one. I took one or two or three or four of them for the team to his jaw. That's what I did. So we both got tossed. And the thing is, we both did.
Oh, okay.
And we both had to leave the field going into the same tunnel. We're literally talking as we get into the tunnel.
That should be. You should not be able to do that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And it was, and it timed up perfectly where we were both leaving the field at the same time because once you get ejected, you go to your sideline first, and then you go to and that's the way it was in that situation. No, because it wasn't like that. You know how it is. In that moment, it felt punchable. You know what I'm saying? Whatever was going on, it probably deserved some sort of extracurricular. Let's just leave it at that. But in that moment, we know how to departmentalize things, right, Blaine? You're not going to take what happens on the field, home with you. I mean, it's just not smart to do. I can't treat.
It was right after it happened.
Right after.
Oh, man.
And it was, it was quick. You know what I'm saying? A couple of whops, and that was about it, I'm actually shocked that you have not gotten ejected. As a matter of fact, I'm stunned.
I think your perception of what I was is just, you just.
When your voice gets high like that, bad things happen.
I was never, ever in the fight because I wasn't going to get no penalty.
Do you know they said that the Chihuahua is the most dangerous
all
dog?
The way to the locker room. I would have never heard. He would have did it in the meeting room the next day. He would have just, I was like, I'm never getting a penalty ever for not no fighting. No.
You
I only got involved even in a skirmish at practice one time, and I forgot one of y'all big offensive linemen kind of like elbowed me or something, and I fell, and I was like, oh, I'm never jumping in a fight with these dudes, man. I go watch film at practice even. Back when we first did, there was some gangsters out there now. I wouldn't even run to the pile. No.
It's a different thinking now. I would imagine that Brian Callahan does not have to deal with some of the same things that Jeff Fisher or even Jack Party had to deal with.
No.
It's a different era, and I think that the guys, there's so much seems to be more professionalism. Let's just say that, you know what I mean?
Oh, well, you can give it that term. I just say they just soft. See, that's why I love LaJuan. He was the last of the, get him. Get him. Sick him.
I do understand. We do need a degree of fear that we can establish. Like you want guys like Taylor Lewan being the first dude off the bus. You know what I'm saying? Because when the opposing team sees that dude all tied up looking crazy, like, oh my God, these are Vikings over here.
Yeah.
They must. What is that?
That's we played in the Vikings.
Skull thing. I thought you were doing a wolf.
At the Vikings Stadium. Yeah, they play
They're
that.
howling over there.
I used to be like, what is, oh my God, they up there playing that thing?
No, but actually the Vikings have a really good culture with that whole deal.
That thing is,
when the Viking comes out on the motorcycle, that's kind of hard.
It is.
It's really hard. Yeah, I dig that for real.
Oh, like, it made me jump in the game when they said, I was like, what the heck?
And they all start going, Skull.
I was like, oh, man.
But what about our pageantry? I think that we got some good stuff going here.
Oh, man.
Dang, that does not sound like a guy that agrees.
I didn't know what you were talking about. If you were talking about at the stadium or were you talking about it here?
No, what are we doing here? We don't talk about over at Nissan Stadium. What do they do over there that makes you kind of get drawn in like that? You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean now?
Like, do you remember? There's probably some stuff that we used to listen to on the Jumbotron when we were playing that kind of inspired us a little bit.
Oh, man, I used to love all the little
Mel Gibson. You know what I mean?
Who let them dogs out?
The freak going? Are you serious?
The freak? Freak out! Dun.
So what's today? You know,
I don't know.
Maybe we're waiting for the new stadium to usher in all the new.
They got a lot of new taglines.
Cool
they got stuff. Yeah. What's the hype guy who wears the chains and he's all yoked up, look like a linebacker? He gets on the
Black
screen.
Dude?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah, he gets some hyped up.
Who? Flamethrower? What?
The Pain Train guy? Is that who you're
Yeah.
talking about?
No, not Mike. Mike. That's Mike. Whatchamacallit? The office linebacker. Mike Tate. Remember back the Pain Train?
Oh,
You're not talking about the Pain Train.
Yeah, I think I am.
Jackson went. Are you talking about the old school guy?
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah.
The one that used to say the.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the new dude that wears the Titans gear that comes out and looks like a Titan. He's all yoked up and buff and stuff. You know. Even when it's cold outside, he's got a cape on.
They got
looking like he's freezing.
I'm going to get them hyped. I get up on that screen. I hype them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, listen.
That was a good old time, though. I used to hype them up before the game, and then I passed the buck to you, and then you hyped them up, and then you passed it to Eddie, then Eddie passed it to McNair.
But I think they're in good hands. I would say.
Oh,
that. Yeah. We're gonna switch gears when we come back. We've been running a little fun and frivolity right there.
Yeah.
But when Ron joins us, we got some NBA discussion to talk about because the Nuggets were up in the series 2-0, and people were rubbing dirt. I mean, they were down 2-0, and people were rubbing dirt on Jokic and all this other stuff. And we'll find out from a guy that actually is super accomplished on the hardwood. Our very own Ron Slay will be joining the program to break it down for us. He's Blaine Bishop. I'm Brad Hopkins. Stick around for more of The Zone. We are brought to you by All Four Seasons Garage Doors.
So many people trust Two Rivers Ford. Football players, working moms, business owners. Why? Because Two Rivers Ford has been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
call your shot read? Like, we're brought to you by whatever? It's time. It's time to call your shot. And yes, we are brought to you by Chattanooga Whiskey. If I had more of the read in front of me, I would tell you a little bit more about it. But you all know what it is. And we brought in a special guest to help Blaine and I call your shot. I'm Brad Hopkins. He's Blaine Bishop. Ooh. And we are now joined by
the Rope-a-Dope.
Yes, from 3HL, the heartbeat of this station.
The Rope-a-Dope.
Yes, the Rope-a-Dope. Ron Slade joins us.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, RS?
Man, I'm out here, man. Talking about the Rope-a-Dope real quick. What y'all think gonna happen with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul?
Oh, what a great question. We were talking about that yesterday in the barbershop.
Like, we all vets. You know what I'm saying?
You going against Iron Mike?
No.
Oh, no way.
I'm trying to figure out who is the problem. Like,
but is it more about conditioning, Slade? Is it more about weathering the storm that you know is coming? Because he's going to be throwing haymakers. And if you can last to say the fourth round, what if he takes this to the fourth round? Mike Tyson's an old man.
You got to get tired at some point.
He will relent.
Oh, they say, but you haven't done your homework. He's up there being a vegan.
Come on.
And got in shape.
Come on.
You better start watching this fool.
Come on here, man.
He just like us.
No, I'm telling you.
Somebody gonna say, hey, I want to race you. You be like, all right, I'm about to go back
let me get myself
workout mode.
That's what it is. That's what it is. This is my thing. I think Jake Paul, like, kudos to him. Salute to him, what he been doing. Celebrity boxing. Like, first of all, boxing is a whole different avenue anyway. Yeah. So to go and take that on and be successful, and I don't care who you fight, to get in the ring and fight, you got to be able to take one, give one, and be able to withstand it. Yeah. Salute to him.
Yeah.
What this man, Iron Mike, is doing, everything Hitman just said, you got to go check him out. His training, he posting his training. Man, this man... And then you got to think he in a different mental capacity right now. So his discipline is totally different now. Yeah. It's totally different, man. Jake Paul better be. He better.
And then you got
be careful.
Mike Tyson strength, and then now you got grown man strength.
Grown man. And lean.
Oh, but I'm not mad. Like he better hope he can. Man, hey, I'm praying for.
I am too. And I ain't even worried about the knock. I'm worried about them body blows.
I know that's right.
Like, this is real, like, oh my gosh. Yeah. You learn different things as you get older, B-Hop.
Yeah.
If you had to go out there and teach somebody on the line right now, think about all the tricks you could tell them. Now, dating back to where you started.
He just learned a new trick today.
See what I'm saying?
Here's the trick. Do you get petties and manis?
Oh, my God.
I got you.
Hey, man.
He just learned today.
I just came from it. I promise you. I promise when you was talking about the calf massages and everything. Listen, I went and worked out this morning, got in the steam room, showered, went straight over there, mani and pedi. And this is what you left out. When you get the mani, you got to get the massage on the forearms.
Oh, my gosh, you're kidding. They do the forearms, too?
Man, go hot towels on the forearms, man.
Stop.
Hey, change your whole life.
You got short change, bro.
Yes.
I did. I only went in there for the petty.
The lady next to me, get what she told me. All you needed was a pillow. I said, right.
That's right.
Because I would have been out. It was over. Hey, it was over, man.
Oh, my God.
I wish I would have learned that, though. Like, I heard Hitman talking about it. Yeah. I wish I would have learned that when I was younger, man. Yeah. Like, I didn't learn it till about, I was 9 years in.
Yeah.
I wish I would have knew about it in college. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because, boy, my feet, they trying to find their way right now, but bad boy. Down there in that paint, man, you got 7 footers stepping on your feet, 16.
I can't imagine.
Like, dude, hey, man.
Ron, serious note. Give us another one of those anecdotes that you would have, if you knew then what you know now, it would have made life easier for you in your career. What is another one of those moments besides the petty?
Mine would have been rest.
Oh, yeah.
And when I'm saying rest, I'm meaning regardless of when you go to sleep, how you kicking it, you got to put yourself on a regimen during the season. So I thought one of the greatest things Floyd Mayweather talked about was when you going to sleep, I'm getting up to working out. So he getting up working out at 11, 12 at night, running at 2, 3 in the morning. Then he's sleeping during the day. Why? Because with his profession, when does he box? At night.
Prime time.
You know what I'm saying? So he had his body conditioned for that. So I would have took care of that a little bit differently instead of spacing it out and knowing my day off is coming in a day or two so I can stay out, you know what I mean, stay up a little later, do different things. And That would have been my only. I did it when I was in the latter part, but that's because I saw the window closing. I wish it would have been different early on in my career. I probably could have had 15, 16 years.
Well, I mean, I wasn't as sound as guy, so I really don't have any regrets when it comes to that. Besides, when I got later in my career, I needed to adapt and change the way I was working. I was still training like I was a young buck, and so now I needed to learn, to manage how hard, because I only had so many runs and reps left in me. And so I went overboard.
Yeah.
I was still training like I was 24, 5, 6, and now I'm 33, 34. Nope, my body's like, boo, what you doing? You just killed yourself in this practice and this training. You ain't even going to be ready for the beginning of the season. You're going to be dead.
Took 2 months off of us.
Yeah.
Slay, does it surprise you that guys like LeBron are playing into their 40s?
Oh.
I mean, he's playing like he was in Cleveland.
That's the thing. Like, so we just talked about with Iron Mike, the discipline that goes along with that. You got to think, man, how much he's sacrificing. You know what I'm saying?
$1 million just on his
just on his
and
body,
his fitness,
and you
and
keeping a guy with you. Like, imagine if you could do it, you would do the same thing. If knowing to prolong your career, that's what it would have took.
Yeah,
we didn't know that. You know what I mean? He jumped into a different with science, food. Like, it was a whole different era. Like, he didn't come in like that. He was training like what Hitman just said. He was training like that. I'm a go, 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 go. And that's not necessarily what it is. Go, go, go. It's massages, rest, stretching, yoga, all that little stuff. Bands with the weights instead of going heavy. And you could see him later in his career, probably about 08, 09, going into 10. Like, he was bulky. Now he's slimmed up a little bit more. Like, you always heard about him being 275, 260. That's more 245, 250. You know what I mean? Which is a difference for him. He was already lean. So that's I'm not surprised for guys that take care of their body and put all that in it.
You know what? That actually brings me full circle to what we wanted to originally get into you with. Joker really shaped his body, and when he did that, you saw him become positionless.
Yep.
This is a dude that has range to knock down threes. His mid game is incredible, and of course the box, for a 7-footer is just ugly.
Absolutely,
with that kind of footwork.
Yeah, absolutely.
So him being able to manage how he was shaped was one of the things that you know. Now they're fighting for their lives right now against some Timberwolves.
Yeah, ain't no
get
question.
Your thoughts about that? But,
ain't no question.
Just talk about that. Was that something that you ever experienced, having to reshape your body?
It was, and mine was by force instead of by choice in this situation. Because I went over and they put a weight clause into my contract, because I would always, like what Hitman said, I figured out by year 4 that I'm not going to work. The season's over in June. I'm not going to work as hard June, July, August. You got to get ready to leave in September. I ain't working all the way up to then. So I'm going to sit back, relax, just hoop a little bit. But as far as getting in great shape, I ain't doing that to hit the wall. So I would come over and I would lose my weight in the preseason. This particular team I was going to was paying me more, and they didn't like that. They wanted me to come in and be ready to go in exhibition games. I'm like, that ain't it. So they put a weight clause in it, and I got from playing at 250. So I used to play like over there 114, 115 kilos. They kept it where I had to be 104 and below. So they changed my diet and everything, and I really liked it. It just affected my play on the floor. I'm a guy that's in the paint.
In the paint.
Right. I need that weight. That's what they didn't understand. I need that weight. Y'all, I'm 6'8". Y'all got me banging with 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot playing the 5. It's cool on offense, but down here, I'm taking a beating trying to hold these big fellas off, And it changed the way I could play defensively. So going into it, I just had to organize a little bit with their trainer after that year. I ended up keeping him, Marconi, a good dude, a good friend of mine, still in Italy now. And he helped me train my body and also train the way I was eating, shrunk my stomach, and I was able to last a little bit longer. But yeah, you had to get to it. Joker did the same thing. I think anybody that goes plays in the Olympics or for their country or trains with them automatically comes back and it's different because you see it differently. You look at it as business. So
how do you stop the Joker though? Because you know what, I'm so fascinated because he plays 2 inches off the ground. His skill level is off the charts. So, like, how would you defend him if you were the Timberwolves or anybody? Because everybody's having trouble stopping him, and he may get his, and they may still lose. How do you kind of contain him? Because you ain't gonna stop him.
No, you're not gonna stop him, but because he get the ball too much and is in control too much. But I think you got to start You saw it with Minnesota in game 1 and 2. They slacked off 3 and 4. And it may have been because the point guard Mike Conley was out, but the pressure that's put on from the time they get the rebound, you have to make him zigzag, even if he ain't got the ball. I don't care what B-Hop doing taking the ball. If I'm guarding you here, man. I got to make you run into me a couple of times. Like, come on, man, get this dude out. Come on, man, get this dude out. Yeah, you can't just. Y'all not walking up, getting into your set. You get to the 3-point line, get the ball, get to look around and do all this. No, I need you thinking constantly. Where is this guy? I can feel this guy hitting me in my body, and it starts to become a nuisance, and it takes you out of your plan for doing everything else because he orchestrates the offense. You take him out. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Right. So make Jamal Murray handle it, make KCP handle it, make Aaron Gordon handle it, make them handle it, and keep you out of it. You're going to hit some shots because you're going to get the ball. We'll live with that. But when they tire him out like that, think about them games. Even though Joker was getting points, Joker was gassed out there. And he's in great shape.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the ones when he just get to run up the court, and then they pass it to him, and they run the offense, you're in trouble.
So what's your prediction, man? Who you got? No, this is a tough one. Even it's in Denver, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Edwards talking
set the stage a little bit. Set the stage a little bit. You're talking about a team that had control over the series and then giving it back to the Nuggets.
Young team.
And then it seemed like through those 3 games that this might even be just the return of the Joker. Yep. Anthony Edwards said otherwise.
Yeah.
Who you like in Game 7?
Man, I'm going to be honest, man. If it wasn't in Denver, I would go with Minnesota just because the presence that Mike Conley brings.
Yeah.
It's different, man.
I remember
you saw him missing. Yeah, you saw him missing. It missed him. You know what I'm saying? Like
my high school.
That man's a baller, man. And his IQ more so than anything. Yeah. And he's been there. You got to think how long ago he was doing it with the Grizzlies, Gasol, and all them. Like he's been there before. But man, Ant-Man, one thing about talking, and I'm a talker on the court. You have to figure out who your personnel is. Because you may be mild-mannered, and I may get you into something that you really ain't ready for because I'm out here talking.
Yeah, be happy.
And we got to go. And we got to go on the road.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like this, these other 12, 13 may not feel, they may feel this way, but don't know how to express it. I'm going out there, I'm charging, attacking. They got to be ready to do that in Denver because their crowd is going to be behind them. Michael Porter Jr. going to be ready. Aaron Gordon going to be ready. All those missed shots that you were getting, it's going to be different. I got to go with Denver just because of the home court.
Yeah.
Just because of the home court.
I'm of the opinion that talking about that other series, Knicks-Pacers, injuries might have caught up to the Knicks, though, even though this seemed to be their year. Ron, I don't know, man. It seemed like the gas was running out. Indiana jumped back in it. Yeah. Maybe there was something to Carlisle getting ejected.
Hey, Tip, we talk about old school coaches and the guys that don't like to change their ways. You got to be able to evolve, man. Yeah. You should have learned a lot from those Chicago teams with Jimmy Butler, even before then with Derrick Rose. Like they had the best teams. New York's loaded like that. But you playing them a bulk of it. They probably playing 7 players, man. This deep in the playoffs, this physical of a game.
Don't have enough gas.
That's it, man. You need a Superman effort out of Brunson again in order to make this happen. And you got to have another game.
Are you surprised that the Pacers are defending? And matter of fact, somebody from Vanderbilt?
Neesmith.
Yeah.
That's the crazy. See,
oh, man. I was like, I thought they were going to get beat because they weren't going to play defense in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They didn't turn it up and say, you going to be the guard guy here, and we're going to.
This is what we need out of you. Yeah, so it's interesting, man. Like, if he didn't get hurt, that's why I was such on a rampage for Jerry Stackhouse. Like, the man went through injuries.
Yeah.
Neesmith got injured. That was going to be the SEC Player of the Year.
Wait, he was South Carolina high school player.
Man, yeah, like the man was a dog. Yeah, a dog. Flat out dog. So, I mean, it is what it is. But when you look at that, the Pacers, for them to win, Halliburton can't take no back seat. Because I don't know what it is. I don't know what he did to Brunson in the summer. Or what he text somebody or we got somebody DM or something. But every time Brunson see him, man, salivating.
He's like,
I got him. And he won't do nothing.
What is it, Ron? What is it about Jalen Brunson? This dude looks like he should be at the Y right now. You know what I'm saying?
I love that
he's dropping 40.
I love that game.
I love that game. I don't see him being so indefensible, but whatever reason, when that ball leaves his hands, it's going in the bucket. What is the deal with JB?
Pace. It's his pace. He played at his pace. Same thing for Joker. Notice all these guys that you feel like you can't speed them up. That you feel like at some point, like how can you not stop him? What do you do?
Yeah.
You got to do something to speed them people up. Take them out of their pace. Brunson, Shane Gilgeous-Alexander. He the same way. Plays at his pace. Same thing for Joker. Like all these Anthony.
It's just like
Ant-Man.
the guy from the Mavericks.
Yeah, same thing.
You can-
Luka. He plays at his. They play at their pace. If you let them play at their pace and they get comfortable, I don't care who you send to me. Because I know when I'm shooting, you don't.
But you say that how do you make them speed up? Because it's like they moving in slow motion. You're like, dang, I saw him about to move and do this move already, and they still can't stop it.
Yeah, you don't let them touch it. Can't let them touch it. But when they're the go-to guy, that sounds
impossible.
Like, but at the same time, take 12 to 15 touches from them and imagine where they are.
So
at some point, they start rushing. Yeah. So that means you giving up something. You're exerting it. Bingo. Mm-hmm. So them same shots that I could make when they leave me in the corner, I might miss them. My leg's gone. I'm defending him.
Mm-hmm. Ron, which do you think is harder to defend? A point guard or a receiver?
Oh.
We don't want to get into off the Rivers debate.
No, think about that. You're talking about cornerbacks.
So
you're talking about cornerbacks that got to be in the shadow of a receiver running excellent routes.
You got to be in that pocket.
Versus a defensive, a guard, basically guarding a guard.
Nowadays, so y'all got to tell me how handsy is it now for corners to be able to play receivers? Because it's not as handsy now. You got to have quick feet to guard a point guard now. Yeah. Because they took this out of the game.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It came back a little bit in this playoffs. You can see a little bit more bump and grind, but that's gone, so it make it much more difficult. And then the flopping with it. So y'all tell me what's going on with the receiver coming out this break. If you in his pocket, is he tugging? Is he
5 yards? I got you, right, Blaine? 5 yards, I can lock you up.
Yeah. That's 5 yards. You can lock up.
You play both?
Yeah.
What? You tell me. Which one is
5 yards, you can lock him up.
5 yards, you can lock him up.
Yeah.
So he's doing what you said to do, which is deny him. You're trying to deny guys like
mentally,
Jalen Brunson.
for a point guard, my thing is, let me turn him twice. When he get the ball in bounds, if I can just make him turn twice, that means he ain't going where he want to go.
And that's that string.
And there you go.
Yeah, that's that Darius Garland right there. Yeah.
Yep.
Because when you watch him athletically, he's just an average athlete for an NBA player. But his skill level with that string on that ball,
see, that's different.
It's all at the top. It's up there with Curry and them.
Yeah.
Rest assured.
Question.
It is right a notch right below him, Irving, then Garland.
Yeah.
Yes.
He got the ball.
People
on the
don't understand this guy, man. And then when he shoots, it's just like it's soft.
Mm-hmm.
Gentry went to prom with him.
Yeah. Wow.
My daughter did. Anyway, why are we not talking more about those guys that know the nooks and crannies? I heard you the other day talking about, in the back roads in Nashville.
Yes, sir. It's playing on back
just
there.
by you mentioning Darius and other players like him, it does seem like there is a hotbed of talent athletically, despite whatever side of the ball you're talking about. Football, basketball. Why are we not talking more about Nashville as being a hotbed?
I think it's coming back to that.
You think so?
I think it's coming back to that. It's and then it's semi untapped because it felt like so many people moved away and so many people got pushed out to different counties that you're not necessarily talking about Nashville. Because even when it was private and public back in our day, all of it was still in Nashville. Like even Brentwood Academy, you still consider that's right down the street. Montgomery Bell Academy, Father Ryan, like all these schools were still right here, along with all the public schools. So you were still talking about Nashville. Now people done moved out. Now Franklin got people, Riverdale, you got Murfreesboro back popping like they were. So it's so spread out. So you don't necessarily think of it as Nashville. Kind of think of it as Middle Tennessee. So you don't necessarily pinpoint Nashville, but it's still a hotbed. Even with more people coming here, y'all coming here really helped it because y'all brought families, and then you got trades, and you got different, and people get here and love it, don't want to leave. You got a whole different gene pool. So I think it's coming back, man.
Yeah, I wonder if it creates a pipeline of those new families that move to Middle Tennessee that then go to Rocky Top.
Yeah.
Not trying to take anything away from Vanderbilt because I've always felt that should be a closer association because there is an SEC school that's right down the street here.
Absolutely.
But Knoxville warrants a lot of attention. I understand why. There's a lot of people that went to school there, like yourself, that now have come back and set up roots here.
Yeah.
But the more that the city expands and the more that it grows, there will be more talented kids that will then just start going down I-40 East
to
go to school.
That's right. It was a fence. It was a fence put up around it. I thought when Pruitt went up there, he knocked the fence down and allowed people to get out of the state. You know what I mean? Not necessarily having a relationship with high school coaches, these trainers, 707, all of this. So I thought that played a difference in it. What you had with Hypo coming back in was, all right, let me hit the ground running, and I ain't got no roster, so let me at least start making relationships. And that kind of helped it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. I think Clark Lee, honestly, is doing the right thing. As far as getting out, it's just difficult to get guys in, especially in the climate today with the transfer portal. Everybody from Vandy can go out and qualify somewhere.
Yeah.
If you want to go to Vandy, which is in the SEC, you may want to go there, but you might not be able to qualify. So it's tough.
Well, talk about this, though, right before we let you go, NIL and how much that's impacting, how it should be structured. You know, because I'm thinking about what Kelly said, Brian Kelly, LSU head coach, talking about, we may not have enough money on an NIL deal, and then you find out their whole pool is about $8 million. You go, what? You don't have enough money?
What
so
money?
how should that be structured when you're talking about incoming freshmen, transfer people? They're human beings too. I said it was going to be issued just like it is in the NFL or any other pro sports. It's like, why are you paying incoming freshmen more than a current player who's actually a starter on the team?
That's my problem with it. I think that is a problem. You got to have a cap on it at some point, but I want to go. I want it to be more, you got a base for your NIL when they come in, and that's fine. But everything else, like what happens at the end of y'all year? You start to get that player performance bonus.
Yeah.
Give me that. Give me that. That's how you want to get that extra? Go do that.
Hey, listen, Ron, what you didn't realize is that because we haven't been able to call our shots, you got to stick around for another segment.
Oh, y'all dragging me in some
Sorry,
more?
man. Just got a few more minutes.
Call a shot.
We got one more segment to go. And of course, we've got a giveaway here for Call Your Shot. It's 2 tickets to Styx and Foreigner at Ascend Amphitheater. I know that Slay's giddy over there, ready to get his 2 tickets.
I can't wait to be there.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, we've got Call Your Shot on the other side. We will actually be doing that, calling our shot. He's Blaine Bishop. I'm Brad Hopkins. That's Ron Slay. We are 104.5 The Zone.
Shot.
You know me, I love numbers. Here are some numbers, though, that you may not love. Over the past 20 years, studies have shown testosterone.
So many people trust Two Rivers Ford. Football players, working moms, business owners. Why? Because Two Rivers Ford has been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Mortgage professionals in Middle Tennessee. Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, owner of Wesley Mortgage. I'm a true local. Born in Mount Juliet, met my wife at MTSU, and I live in Franklin. While every other mortgage company is cutting back, we're rapidly expanding and investing. Are you sick of feeling like an operations employee to ensure your loans are closed on time? When you look around your office, it doesn't look the same. You're missing people. You're missing your friends. Is anyone having fun? We're having fun every day. As the official mortgage provider of the Tennessee Titans, I've personally recruited the top local operations team to ensure your loans are closed on time. So you get paid, so you get to spend time building your business, and you get to have fun at work again. Now is the time to join our team. To start a confidential conversation with our local president and COO, visit whywesley.com. whywesley.com.
That red light on.
It is time to call our shot. I'm Brad Hopkins. He's Blaine Bishop, and we are joined now for our final segment by Ron Slay. And we're going to jump right into it because we got people on the line at 737-1045 that also want to call your shot. And guess what? If you call your shot and we agree that your shot was the best, we're going to give you 2 tickets to see Styx and Foreigner at Ascend Amphitheater on July the 12th.
All right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right,
So, Kyle, you on already? Jimmy, you already on? We'll get to you guys in just a few minutes, but load them up. And the best one will win those 2 tickets at 737-1045. So, who wants to start first with the calling your shot? I think you're Ron. Yours is probably more interesting. So maybe we start with the guest, Blaine.
Okay, I appreciate that, man. You know, laying out the welcome mat for me. I'm gonna go into pop culture avenue with this one, man.
Speaking
for
of
the news, the news. The news that just came out, and well, it's been out, but the video that just came out, man. No laughing matter. Diddy is gone. Puff Daddy, Brother Love, Daddy Love, whatever you want to go by. Sean Combs. Man, this surveillance video from, I think, 2016 of him and Cassie. No, really, him attacking Cassie, not him and Cassie getting into it. Him attacking Cassie, her trying to leave the hotel, get on the elevator, him snatching her back, kicking her, punching her, so forth and so on. Like, any benefit of the doubt of all the allegations that were coming out about him, that's gone. You have no more benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? So what you have to be careful of is any other stories that come out behind this automatically. Like, you're going to be thought of as guilty by seeing this. So I'm calling my shot, man. Diddy is going away for quite some time. That's my call you shot in the pop culture avenue.
Here. I agree. Big B, what you got?
Yeah, I just got my shot, man. I was looking at the video.
You so involved.
You saw the video?
Are you watching it right now?
Dude.
I was just like,
well, I'll give you a chance to think about it.
Man.
My shot is, though, it's coming back to me.
What is it?
I just saw an ant run across the table. And then he came to life. And he says, Ant-Man gonna take down the Nuggets.
The ant told you that?
That's a
He
good
stopped
shot.
and looked at me and said, what are you talking about, Hitman?
I like it.
Hey, Ron, Blaine thinks that Ant-Man is Michael Jordan's son.
Guess what? I don't know about that. I ain't gonna get into that, but one thing I will say is, well, he sure got the stage set for him to go on and set his legacy up right here.
Yeah.
This it right here.
Well, this would be a shocker taking out a
This
Joker
it.
crew.
You just did KD and them. You swept him.
Yeah, man.
You go take down the 3 out of 4 time MVP.
The pressure's on the Nuggets.
Every bit of it.
Are we
And
ready?
defending champion.
Every bit of it.
Are we ready for him to be the face of the NBA?
Oh. Well, we ain't got no choice. We thought it was going to be Ja Morant, but he slipped up, and guess what Ant-Man said? Give me that. I know what to do with this.
Ja.
And he ain't going to relinquish it.
Come on, John.
And he got the cachet.
Yeah.
That boy a media darling, too.
Mine real quick before we jump to the phones. I'm going to say that there will be a sweeping of the Gamecocks. That's going to happen.
Okay.
And Vanderbilt is not going to get swept by Kentucky. They're just not going to happen. James Corbin
roll
said
with
no.
them against Tennessee, too?
Jim Corbin said no. We're not going to. We might not win the series, but I'm not getting swept. Basically, A&M's going to do whatever they need to do. I think that, obviously the SEC title is well within Tony V's hands. They take it home. Now, what they do with that, the momentum, getting into the regional and the super regional and all this stuff, hopefully this SEC title, which I'm calling my shot that they will get, will give them that necessary momentum.
That'll be beautiful.
All right, let's do that. Hey, let's jump to the phones real quick, Jackson, because there are a couple of people that want to at least give a shot at, you see what I did there, Blaine? They want to give a shot at winning these 2 Styx tickets, Styx and Foreigner, mind you, at Ascend Amphitheater on July the 12th. Isn't that outdoors joint? Isn't the Ascend Amphitheater where you can actually listen?
That's right down here. Right over the bridge.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Let's
Nice
bring in,
energy over there, too.
Yeah, right. Let's bring up Kyle in Springfield first. He wants to give his shot. Kyle, welcome in. You're on with Blaine, Brad, and Ron. What's up?
What's going on, boys?
What's happening?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Sean, I'm so confident in it. I done threw a 20 on it.
Oh, snap.
That boy Scotty Scheffler finna have him a weekend and win that championship.
He's going to win the championship. That
was my other shot. I was
that
hoping
jailbird
for.
Scotty Scheffler.
Just cause.
6 today. Shot 5 under.
5 under. Man, after spending the morning in the pokey.
And the
How you like
I don't know. Hey, thanks for the call, Kyle.
I wanted to win.
And you know what? Don't leave anywhere because I think that you have to hold because you might be. Is that what it is, Jackson?
Yeah, stay on hold.
Jackson,
And if you're a winner, I'll get your information.
Stay on hold. Okay, let's go to Jimmy next in Franklin. He wants to give his shot. Jimmy, welcome in. You're on with Blaine, Brad, and Ron. What's up?
Rat Tail Jimmy is the name.
Rat Tail Jimmy.
I want to defer my call your shot to Mr. Slay. Kentucky bourbon or Tennessee bourbon?
Kentucky bourbon or Tennessee bourbon?
He might have got the Slay right.
That's a tough one now. That's a tough. Listen here, I ain't got no problem. Listen, I know where my allegiance lies. They know where it lies. One thing I got to tell you, man, they do one thing well up here. They make some bourbon up here in Kentucky. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna go Kentucky bourbon.
Wow,
that's some bad boy.
That
Buffalo Trace and all that. Like that's, hey man.
Oh, Trace, you an expert.
Hey man, there's some good stuff out there, man, and a lot of it come from Kentucky. I'm gonna be honest. Hey, yeah, man.
BB, are you a bourbon guy?
Nah. I used to be back in the day, but now I'm more Tito's guy.
Oh, that's.
That meets Ron's approval.
Yes,
I'm with the Tito's too.
Yes, I see.
Tito's
you can get out and function. Bourbon, you got to be sitting on the porch.
And that's what happened.
That's what I'm porch.
That is what happened.
Yeah. I can't function outside with bourbon.
Hey, I don't know about you guys, but in a quick vote, I think that the whole Scotty Scheffler winning the thing could be a thing.
Yes. You take that.
So Kyle in Springfield, you are the winner of 2 tickets to see Styx and Foreigner at Ascend Amphitheater. Ron, you have been fantastic. What do you got coming up here in the next few minutes with the mayor and Babs?
Fridays, man. We got a lot of topics to hit on. I definitely want to hit on this Scheffler situation because I think it goes both ways depending on whose eyes you're looking through.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you same bat time, same bat channel on Monday. Have a great weekend. But in the meantime,
and in between time,
peace.